Another working day in the city of London. Now one of the high streets of the global village, where distance and national boundaries are irrelevant. London is also a multicultural hub that lures people from all corners of the old British Empire. So when a businessman takes a call on his mobile, he doesn't think twice about the operator's accent.
Hello.
Good afternoon, my name is Rashmi. Are you the main user of this mobile phone?
Yes, I am.
What the customer doesn't know is that this friendly voice is nearly 7,000 kilometres away in India. UK consumers have unwittingly joined the inevitable march of globalisation as big corporations such as British Telecom, British Airways and Citibank move their customer service operations to India. Bills are paid, tickets booked and assistance sought from someone who has never set foot in the UK.
Okay, the balance on your account at this moment is £250. Is there anything
Operators are trained to gossip about the London weather, the football, pretty much anything. Just never, ever admit they're in India.
Oh yeah, I agree. Yeah, the weather is terribly cold out here. And especially this time in London.
No, we don't tell them. I mean, they don't ask and we don't tell them.
I think it is misleading if they're trying to hide the fact that their employees are employed in India. And one wonders, it's questionable actually, why they feel the need to do that.
This is about more than just national pride. At stake are the jobs and locations of the multi-billion-dollar call centre market, now one of the world's fastest-growing industries.
Since how long have you been using the washing machine? When did you purchase it from a company?
I don't know of very many other industries that are growing at that pace. The opportunity is huge and mammoth.
Disciples of the Jain faith parade through the commercial heart of Old Delhi, encouraging others to join them on the righteous path to nirvana. They ignore the signs, hinting at great riches at the end of another path, the information superhighway. Many of the big .coms have since crashed and burnt. But in this society that so strongly believes in reincarnation, the next big thing is now rising from the cyber wreckage, the call centre.
Sure, I could increase your credit balance for you. Is there anything else you want me to help you with?
So may I take a few minutes of your time, please?
Can I please have your name along with your number?
We answer calls for the 1-800 calls that go to companies. We answer them. We initiate calls for telemarketing, credit collections. We do accounts processing. We pay bills on behalf of companies.
Raman Roy is the boss of Spectramind, a Delhi-based call centre company. He employs 500 staff. By the end of the year, that will double, servicing corporations in Britain and the US. All this in an industry that didn't exist 5 years ago.
So from 1998 at $250 million, it's going to go to $17 billion in the year 2008.
And how many people would be employed?
Definitely in excess of 1 million.
So from nothing to $17 billion, employing 1 million people in under a decade.
That's right. This is our Earth station.
A key to India's burgeoning call centres has been the great leap forward in communications technology.
That is our lifeline. That dish connects us to the world. That points directly to a satellite. We do not rely on the local Indian telecom infrastructure to be able to service our customers. We are totally self-reliant. That is one of the modes of contact. This building is connected 5 different ways to the outside world.
In a country where it's an achievement to make a successful local call, an entire industry has now been built upon millions of daily connections to the other side of the planet.
It's pretty incredible. Some of the advanced technologies used all over the world were managed by our fellow countrymen. We've now reached a stage where some of them are motivated to come back with their learnings and their technology and use it for their country.
The real secret behind India's call centre success is its people. Spectramind has a campus feel. Not surprising, considering everyone here is a recent university graduate.
Hi, how's it going?
English speaking, highly motivated, and prepared to work for a tenth of the wages of their British counterparts. With around 30% unemployment for graduates, this is regarded as a big career opportunity.
How many graduates are being turned out by the Indian education system each year, English-speaking graduates?
Well in excess of 250,000 every year.
Every year.
And we do not create enough jobs in this country for the number of people that we churn out today.
All the customers are different, so we get different customers, different kind of perspective they have. So it's like different. We don't get bored of the same calls. It's good. It's good. It's fun.
Sure, it'll be done within 24 hours.
And while they may speak fluent English, they still have to be tuned to the nuances of their clients.
Right, so your bill has been overcharged?
No, it's scalp massage. Doesn't seem to be my lucky day. Always a bridesmaid, never a bride. That's me.
This is called cultural education. None of these trainees have ever been to the UK, let alone Sun Hill.
Everybody else is scarp and sharpish.
But when they hit the phones, they'll be expected to trade football gossip with the best of them.
What are these? Manchester United, Arsenal and Liverpool. What are these? They're what? Football clubs. Yeah. Do you see the picture next to that? Okay. Can you identify who it is? David Beckham. Wonderful. Great. Good job. Finally, I may really be a great raving fan of football, and I'm very excited about what is happening, and I want to discuss it with you, and you only have a very basic knowledge about that. How do you think you're going to handle this situation, this very tricky situation?
So I would say that, okay, since I have very little knowledge about that, maybe you could just find someone who's really interested in that.
What you can actually say is tennis is my favorite game and not football. So I'm sure he'll understand that.
Not only do trainees have to walk the walk of British sport, they're also expected to talk the talk, knocking the edges off that Delhi accent. In marketing speak, this is called voice neutralisation.
Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers.
Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers.
Where's the peck of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked?
Where's the peck of pickled peppers?
But it's fun with a very serious intent. For Indian call centres to succeed in Britain depends on a marketing strategy of deception.
The same thing when you speak too fast over the phone, you're going to lose clarity, you lose the message you're trying to deliver.
Like we have an Indian accent and we have to speak to those people and we don't have to let them know like we're calling from India. So we have to speak in that accent and we have to modulate our voices.
In Britain, more than 400,000 people now work full-time in call centres, making it one of the largest employment sectors in the UK.
There's evidence that the sort of people who are attracted to working call centres in the UK are quite often either part-time women who can fit it in around their family requirements. Also, a lot of students work in call centres. Students need to get finance to get their way through their course, and again, they can often work quite unusual hours.
Okay, you're welcome.
It's hardly a lucrative career choice. These students and single mums are treated as unskilled labour, earning about £12,000 a year. By comparison, their Indian counterparts get only a tenth of that, making it almost impossible for the British call centres to compete. In a bid to protect jobs, the British unions now conjure up images of Western corporations exploiting sweatshops on the subcontinent.
they're often only working there out of desperation. And working conditions can be quite appalling there, with very, very long hours and sweatshop conditions. They're not going to get the kind of dedicated service that the better paid staff in the UK and the well-trained staff would be able to offer.
Well, let me tell you about our latest service called...
And this is what the British insist is a sweatshop. Just as Britain lost its textile and steel industries to cheap competition from Asia, the same thing looks set to happen again to the customer service industry. It's a harsh lesson in the realities of globalisation.
In the real world, boundaries and barriers are disappearing, and the service requirements will move to wherever they can be best fulfilled. And to an extent, there we have a role to play, and we will play it.
What happened? No, you're going to send me.
These young Delhi call centre operators are from a very different social strata to their British counterparts, who are treated as so much unskilled factory fodder. They're on their way to work in a chauffeured company vehicle, one of the trappings of the middle class to which they belong. Much of the India they pass does fit the British image of a sweatshop, but it's certainly not where they're headed.
Good afternoon, everybody. We'll talk about 9 news of UK and about the foot and mouth disease that's still happening. It's again a major issue in UK nowadays, and there's
it's the start of a shift at Spectrumine, a briefing for another day of deception. British and American corporations are extremely sensitive about outsourcing jobs to India, and in many minds, the sweatshop tag still sticks.
That's it for the day, sir.
We're only permitted to film on the condition we don't reveal the names of the companies, just as these workers must never let on to the customers that they are in New Delhi.
When someone calls in, do they necessarily know that they're speaking to someone in India? Is it something you tell them?
No, we don't tell them. I mean, they don't ask and we don't tell them. People who call in want their query resolved. They want the information that they need. And as long as that is handled in an effective and efficient manner, that meets their needs.
I have some doubts about why they feel that they need to pretend they're not using staff in India. It's probably because they do feel that there'd be accusations of exploitation. There's a general business ethics view that if possible you should do your business in this country, and if that's where you're making your profits and that's where your customers are, then the whole thing should be kept here.
It's because we are about to start our services in Ireland within a few days.
But there's more to this business than just a pleasant telephone manner. As part of an equally lucrative call centre spin-off, India is fast becoming what has been dubbed the back office of the world, providing accounting and administrative support for major corporations.
Call centre is just one of the arenas in which we play.
Yes.
And about 40% of our business is to do with voice. 60% of the business that we do is non-voice.
American Express has established its own back office in India, and many other corporate heavy hitters have now followed. But this is perhaps the ultimate in outsourcing. A team of 14 scientists hired to work via email on a complex research project for an American company.
Each one of my colleagues here is a PhD in mammalian molecular biology, where we work on genomes and we help create a database which is highly technical.
And it's all done for about half the cost of a US-based research team. This kind of project dramatically raises the stakes of the globalisation debate. For this is not just cheap labour, but a direct threat to the intellectual capital of Western universities and research institutes.
They are doing things at cutting edge of what research is being done all over the world. They still get to live in their own country, be with their own families, and work in the same environment as they would if they were in United States or in UK. It's a win-win.
As for the British, they've already lost the call centre battle before it ever really began. At last count, there were 18 Indian companies in London, aggressively chasing more British business. Whether you see it as another example of the evils of globalisation or an opportunity for the developing world, it doesn't really matter. Help is still just a phone call away.